Hello, everyone, and welcome to weekly superhero movie and video game news. I apologize for looking red. I went out into the sun this weekend without wearing any sunscreen like an idiot. I got a little bit burned, but that's okay. We're here to talk about superhero news, and that does not require any kind of sunscreen, thankfully. This was a busy week for news because D23 happened, which is the Disney Expo, so we learned a lot of Marvel stuff. And as always, the movie news will be first, the video game news will be second, and I'm going to start putting a timestamp at the top of the description, at the beginning of the description, below the video. So if you're interested in just jumping forward to the video game news, you can click on that timestamp there, or go to that timestamp. Not sure if it will be clickable or not. Sometimes it does, sometimes it isn't. Anyways, without further ado, let's get right into the news. Let's see here. Wonder Woman 2 is rumored to be set in the 1980s against the Soviet Union at the end of the Civil War, at the end of the Cold War. Chris Pine is reported to return as Steve Trevor. So I'm not sure if it's going to be called Wonder Woman 2. Previously, they said that it might be in modern day, but it looks like it might be in the 1980s now, which will be interesting. And it looks like it might be another war-themed film. I thought the first Wonder Woman was great, and I thought it was a great war film. I don't think that Wonder Woman always needs to be a war film, though. I'd be more interested in seeing what Wonder Woman does, In Batman v Superman, she said she's fought things that aren't of this world before, and I'd be more interested in that than seeing some Cold War kind of stuff. But, the first one was great. I'm sure Patty Jenkins will do a great job with the second one. This Chris Pine returning thing is very interesting. You guys know what happened to Chris Pine at the end of the first Wonder Woman. I'm not going to go into that for spoilers reasons, but it will be interesting to see how they do Chris Pine. Not saying what happens at the end of Wonder Woman, but this is also several years later. His character will have aged significantly. So that will be interesting to see what happens. It could be like a generation down, like maybe Chris Pine is the grandchild of someone, but if he returns as Steve Trevor, he might be like Steve Trevor the second, maybe? Who knows? We'll see how that turns out. Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2 home video release will include a music video for the song Guardians Inferno that played during the end credits of the movie. It will include most of the cast and David Hasselhoff. The Blu-ray and DVD release is August 8th. Digitally August 8th and physically August 22nd. I don't remember the song too well at the end of the credits. I remember it was a good song, but I don't remember. I do remember David Hasselhoff, though. So that would be cool that there's a music video for that, and it includes most of the cast. I'm interested in checking that out. Hopefully it's released on YouTube. The New Mutants started production on July 10th, possibly the start of a trilogy. It is a horror movie with a PG-13 rating. I'm really interested to see how this New Mutants movie turns out. I hope it's good. Like I said, I want it to do well so that there's more interest in doing a Spawn horror movie that Todd McFarlane has been talking about for a while. But I love the X-Men movies, and this one seems like it's going to be pretty fun. Horror movies that are PG-13 are usually more scary and less gory, so it'll be interesting what they do with that, especially because they've done, Logan and Deadpool were R-rated movies. It's surprising for them to go back to a PG-13, but I guess I still want to get the, attract the PG-13 audience. Ciarán Hinds, who plays Steppenwolf, never actually met the cast of the Justice League movie. All of his acting was done with motion capture and a green screen. I saw some people complaining about this on the internet, saying that, it's not real acting if you're not with your other cast members and stuff. But, I mean, lots of stuff is done with motion capture and green screen these days. I'm sure that's not uncommon for people to not meet their cast members. But, it also, you got to question a little bit of, like, what the chemistry can be between the actors if they don't actually meet each other. But, yeah. Let's see. The MCU has passed $12 billion at the worldwide box office. I'm sure that's Spider-Man to thank for that, but $12 billion is a lot of money. I'm glad to hear it's doing well. Mel Gibson was previously considered to direct the Suicide Squad sequel, but now Jaume Collet Serra is possibly set to direct it. His last movie was The Shallows. I believe that was the shark movie with Ryan Reynolds' wife. I can't remember her name. I'm glad that I'm not a huge Mel Gibson fan, so I'm glad that they're getting away from him a little bit. I don't know much about this other guy, but it seems like he is the front runner to direct the Suicide Squad sequel. I enjoyed the first Suicide Squad, so I'm looking forward to the second one. I hope that they keep that guy who had the boomerang. I like that guy. He was cool. Ryan Reynolds congratulated Wonder Woman as Deadpool, saying, "The Merc may be filthier, but her BO is stronger." It was a pun on box office and body odor. I feel like I need to explain that. Christopher Nolan is remastering the Dark Knight trilogy in 4K. Release of the Blu-ray and DVD. I would imagine that it's only Blu-ray. I don't know if they do 4K DVDs, or if I don't know a whole lot about 4K. I'm not sure if they have their own discs for 4K, but either way, the release is a long ways out. He said it's a long process, but that's cool that the Dark Knight trilogy is getting remastered. I like those movies a lot, but I'm excited to see what future Batman movies hold and these cinematic universe Batman movies. That's what I'm excited about. There will be more Captain America PSAs on the Spider-Man Homecoming DVD. That's cool. Those Captain America PSAs were really fun for the Spider-Man movie, and it's going to be cool to see more of those. Apparently they filmed like a bunch of them all at one time, and they're going to release all of them on that DVD, so that's really cool. I like that they're adding a lot of good quality stuff to, make these DVDs and Blu-rays worth the purchase, because they are expensive, that's for sure. A picture of Wasp's costume was on display at D23. I mean, if you know what Wasp looks like, it wasn't it wasn't super shocking, but if you want to see what Wasp is going to look like in the movie, just look up, Wasp D23, and you'll see the image. But like I said, it kind of just looks like Wasp. We know what she looks like a little bit. Let me see. The Japanese name of Thor Ragnarok is Mighty Thor Battle Royale. That wasn't really super newsworthy, but I thought that was pretty funny. Mighty Thor Battle Royale. Apparently all of the movies were called Mighty Thor. Good shit. I like those Japanese names. Let me see. Marissa Tomei is upset that a scene didn't make it into Spider-Man Homecoming. The scene was of Aunt May saving a little girl, and Peter was watching her do this heroic act, and it was kind of inspiring to him to have his heroic ethics. It seems like Marissa Tomei was upset that this scene that I don't think they actually filmed the scene. It was just written in the script originally. It seems like she was upset that it didn't make it into the movie. I just, we've had 5 Spider-Man movies. I think we all know that he has heroic ethics. I don't know if that really needs to be shown. I don't know if it would have thrown off the pace of the movie, but I thought that movie was excellent the way it was. I don't know if this scene would have added more, but I don't think it would have taken anything away either. And any more of Marissa Tomei is totally okay with me. Rumor says there will be a second symbiote host in the Venom movie. This is not confirmed, it's just a rumor. I don't know how qualified this rumor is, but it's just a rumor. I thought it was newsworthy. The rumor says that it will be Eddie Brock's wife, Anne Wayne. She might be in the film, and she was She-Venom in the comics after the symbiote saved her life from a gunshot. This Venom movie is turning out to be very interesting. I am super excited to see what they do with this. Everything we've been hearing about this movie makes it sound very interesting and crazy, and I am cautiously optimistic. I am looking forward to it very much. Matt Reeves is not using Ben Affleck's script for the Batman. Affleck's script included Deathstroke, but now might not be in the movie. This is just a little bit worrying for me. I'm okay that Affleck isn't directing it. I'm okay that Affleck isn't writing it anymore. But it feels like he's really getting pushed out of the movie, and I really like him as Batman. I think Ben Affleck has done a great aged Batman. I thought he's done a great Bruce Wayne, an older Bruce Wayne. I hope he doesn't get kicked out of this movie. I hope we don't lose him as Batman. He's only had one Batman movie so far, and I would like to see more of him. So hopefully they don't, he said, Matt Reeves has said multiple times that Ben Affleck is Batman in the movie, but, it hasn't even started production, like, it just recently started production, I believe. So, there's still a chance that they could kick him out and get someone new to play Batman. I really hope not, but I'm a little bit scared that that's going to happen. And as far as Deathstroke not being in the movie, some people are upset about that. It doesn't bother me that much. They say they want this movie to be a noir detective film, and I think the best villain for that would be the Riddler. I want the Riddler in a Batman movie. We've only seen the Riddler once in a Batman movie, and I like that. I thought it was okay, but I'd really like to see a mature Riddler, and I think if you're going to do a detective story, the Riddler would be a great character to be a detective of. Riddler, put him in the Batman. Nate Moore, executive producer on Black Panther, compared the film to The Godfather and James Bond. He said the film has elements of discord within a powerful family and espionage. I've never seen The Godfather, but I do like James Bond. I don't know how it would compare to The Godfather. I don't really see this being like a gangster film or what do you call The Godfather? Mafia kind of thing. But yeah, that's comparing it to The Godfather and James Bond is talking serious shit about your movie, so it better be good, The new Hellboy was originally a continuation of the Del Toro films, the Guillermo del Toro films, but they decided to reboot the series when Guillermo del Toro and Ron Perlman left. David Harbour, who's playing Hellboy, is doing lots of research about Hellboy to do the part justice. I haven't seen Stranger Things, which I think is where David Harbour is mostly known from. But I'm looking forward to this movie. As I said previously, I wasn't the biggest fan of the original two Hellboy films, but I'm interested in seeing more about that character. He's a pretty interesting character. I hope they keep some of the comedy elements in it. That was my favorite parts of those movies. But yeah, that'll be fun. Always looking forward to more superhero films. The more, the better. Chadwick Boseman hinted that Ulysses Klaue is the real villain of Black Panther. He said Killmonger is more relatable. So Killmonger, I think, has kind of been portrayed as the main villain, who's being played by Michael B. Jordan, I think is his name. He played Flame Boy in the last Fantastic film, Human Torch. He played Human Torch in the last Fantastic Four film. That's the guy who's playing Killmonger. Chadwick Boseman says that Killmonger is more relatable and that Ulysses Klaue is the real villain. I believe that. And I like Michael B. Jordan. I think he's a good actor, so I'd like to see him in more than just one movie. Marvel has a tendency to not reuse their villains, and I think they need to start keeping them in the storyline, and not just kill them off or delete them after their movie, because seeing them multiple times would be a good thing, I feel like. But yes, Ulysses Klaue is also an interesting character. Andy Serkis is a good actor, so that will be cool. Let me see. Goliath might be an Ant-Man and the Wasp. Marvel is looking for a black actor aged 55 to 65 years old for a character that is highly intelligent, and that describes Dr. Bill Foster, who is Goliath. I don't know anything about Goliath. I need to do some research on that character, but that's cool. One thing I love about these movies is there's so many characters that I get to learn about. Man-Ape will not be called Man-Ape in the Black Panther movie because, let me see, because it could possibly seen as racist. He's a black guy, and calling him Man-Ape is questionably racist. I agree with that. He also is not wearing an ape costume in the movie. In the comics, he wears an ape. I think he's wearing like the skin of an ape in the comics, and he's not wearing the ape suit in the movie. He's wearing a suit that has ape features to it, but it's not like a literal ape suit that he's wearing. And I understand why calling a black man Man-Ape would be seen as racist. That would not be okay. Let's see. Entertainment Weekly confirmed that vibranium is actually woven into the fabric of Black Panther's costume. I think everyone knew that already, but they confirmed it. Thank you, Entertainment Weekly. Wonder Woman has the best superhero box office holding in 15 years. That means that each week it has been consistently, like, you know, the decline of ticket sales has been less dramatic than other movies. Like, you know, everyone knows when Batman v Superman hit that second weekend, they had a very dramatic decline in ticket sales. But it seems like Wonder Woman has had the best box office holding for a superhero movie in 15 years. Previously, it was Spider-Man from 2002. People predict that Wonder Woman will be in theaters through August. Obviously, that's not every theater. You know, a lot of theaters will be dropping the movie over time, but it seems like it will be playing in a significant amount of theaters through August. So if you haven't seen it yet, I highly recommend that you do, and it looks like you will have a chance to do that all the way through August. Mark Ruffalo said another Hulk solo film will never happen because Universal, who owns the Hulk movie rights, won't play nice with Marvel. This is unfortunate. You know, I think the Hulk has some really interesting stories, especially the ones where he goes into outer space. That would be great movies, but you know, Universal owns the rights to the solo Hulk movie films. And it looks like they're not playing nice with Marvel, according to Mark Ruffalo. I know that Mark Ruffalo has been wanting to do a solo Hulk film for a while, but it looks like that's not going to happen. Also, when he said this, he was standing right next to the guy who plays War Machine. I'm pretty sure it was the guy who plays War Machine, and that guy was joking that Universal doesn't like that Mark Ruffalo is playing the Hulk. They don't want Mark Ruffalo to be the main character. I don't know how true that is. It could have just been like a, you know, an offhand joke, but that's a possibility as well, that Universal doesn't like Mark Ruffalo as the Hulk. But it seems like Marvel has no issue using the Hulk in their own movies that aren't solo Hulk movies. So as long as we keep seeing the Hulk, you know, they could just make a solo Hulk movie and call it Thor Ragnarok. Let's see. The Black Order, who are Thanos' henchmen, will be in Infinity War. I don't know a whole lot about the Black Order, but at D23 they had little sculptures of all of them, and that was pretty cool. Let's see here. A teaser trailer for Infinity War was shown at D23 exclusively. You can find details online. I highly recommend CBR.com or IGN.com. Both of those websites had good write-ups of the trailer. Let's see here. Oh yeah, in the trailer there were a couple memorable moments that, you know, they didn't post the trailer online, not yet at least, but people described what happened into it. Some of the memorable moments in it that I remember were Thor crashes into the Guardians of the Galaxy ship, and so that's kind of how they meet. The first introduction of the Avengers and Guardians of the Galaxy is Thor crashing into the windshield of their ship. Spider-Man does have Spidey sense. Apparently there's a scene in the trailer where his arm hair raises, and that signifies spider sense. Also, Thanos, I could be wrong about this, but I'm pretty sure I remember reading Thanos breaks up a planet, like he destroys a planet and then throws the pieces at the Avengers. It sounds like it's going to be an intense movie, that's for sure. Let's see here. Oh, also, I wanted to go back to this last one, the Black Order, who are Thanos' henchmen. Last week, in the last video I did, I talked about how Ebony Maw was seen. You know, he was kind of hinted and revealed because of a mocap suit. He was confirmed. He is part of the Black Order. Ebony Maw is. Let's see. Next news point. Tyrese Gibson has talked to Warner Brothers about playing Green Lantern John Stewart, but he might be too old because the person they're looking for is from 21 to 30 years old, and he is 38. I don't know a whole lot about Tyrese Gibson. I'm not sure what he's from. But, you know, I think it's important to cast actors who are passionate about their characters. However, if he's, you know, too old to play the part, I understand that. I like casting young people so that they can play those parts for a very long time. You know, because we're getting to the point where it's like, you know, what are they going to do with Iron Man and Robert Downey Jr.? Are they going to give him a go-away movie like Logan? Or are they just going to replace him like they did with the Batman films? After the Tim Burton films, they had the other people playing Batman. I am really messing up with my actor names right now. I can't remember them, but you know the original 4 Batman movies from the '90s. Yeah, the '90s. How they changed Batman with just like no, like, hey, we have a new Batman actor. I want, you know, like, are they going to do that with Iron Man? We don't know. So I cast them young so they can, you know, act for a long time. Like Tom Holland, I want him to be Spider-Man for like 20 fucking years. I want to die and Tom Holland's still Spider-Man. Anyways, Incredibles 2 will start literally a minute after the ending of the first movie. So in the ending of the first movie, those mole people are coming up out of the ground. Apparently, the Incredibles 2 will start like immediately after that, which is pretty cool. You know, how long ago did the Incredibles come out? It's going to be like if you watch them back to back. I watched the first Incredibles not too long ago, and that animation has aged a little bit. So it'll be interesting to watch the first one and then watch the second one back to back. The story is a direct continuation, but all of a sudden the animation is going to increase in quality significantly. It'll be jarring, to say the least. But I am super excited for Incredibles 2. I hope they do a Megamind 2, because that was an awesome movie. Infinity War finished filming on July 14th. I'm sure that production is not done on this movie. You know, they still have lots of editing to do, but I'm sure there's also going to be a few reshoots as well. Usually there's reshoots, but it looks like main production of filming of Infinity War has finished on July 14th. A new photo from the Dark Phoenix production shows Dark Phoenix production shows Cyclops wearing a new visor, and it looks more traditional. The visor he wore in Apocalypse, it was kind of not like his traditional visor, but now he looks like if you picture Cyclops in your mind, that's what he looks like. That's what his visor looks like. The Batman release date has been pushed to 2019. I'm not surprised by that. You know, all these changes to the Batman film ever since Matt Reeves took over. It makes sense that it was pushed back to 2019. I think originally it had a release date of 2018. I didn't think that they were going to make that, you know. And you give it some time. We want a good movie. I'd hate to wait for it. You know, waiting for movies is a struggle for me. But let's have a good movie. Let's make it a better movie. I'm willing to wait for a better movie, especially if it has the Riddler in it. Let's put the Riddler in the Batman. How about we do that? Seth Rogen and Evan Goldberg are making an Invincible movie based on the comic by Robert Kirkman, and I believe Robert Kirkman is the one who wrote The Walking Dead. It is inspired by Logan and Spider-Man: Homecoming, because there was an interview with Seth Rogen, and he said that he was inspired by those two movies because they were good movies regardless of the superhero element. So if you took like the superhero element out of Logan and Spider-Man: Homecoming, they were still good movies, which I would agree with. And he's using his experience from the Green Hornet and Preacher to make a better movie, and they are sticking closer to the comics. Let me see. I saw the Green Hornet. I liked it. Generally, people did not like that movie, but I thought it was a good time. You know, I didn't think it was that bad. I have not seen Preacher. I haven't gotten into Preacher yet, but apparently Preacher strays pretty far from the comics, but they're saying here for the Invincible comic, they are sticking very close to the comics. He said they're going to weave kind of some original ideas and all of the traditional ideas for the Invincible comic into a movie together. I don't know anything about the Invincible comic. I should look into that because it sounds interesting. But, you know, Seth Rogen and Evan Goldberg are very talented guys. I'm sure that that's going to be a fun movie to see. Let me see. Josh Brolin, who plays Thanos in Infinity War, well, in all of the MCU pretty much, said Infinity War is a more emotional and interactive than he expected. He also said it might not be for kids. He said it's kind of an adult-oriented movie. It has some psychological elements to it, he said. I'm sure that kids will enjoy it. They might just grow to enjoy it more when they get older. But I'm you know, it's going to be a PG-13 film. I'm sure it's still going to apply to the kids. There's so much money being spent on that movie that they need it to apply to everyone. Everyone needs to be able to enjoy that movie for that movie to make any money back. But also, Josh Brolin, who is also Cable in the Deadpool 2, said he doesn't make any references to him playing Thanos. That's unfortunate. In Deadpool, where there's lots of fourth breaking walls, it is unfortunate that he's not going to be making any Thanos jokes, because he is playing Thanos and Cable. He is playing like two of the most powerful people in the Marvel universe. You figure that they would like make a joke about that. But he does break the fourth wall in other ways, he said. He also said that Cable does have some comedic moments. You know, I don't know a whole lot about Cable. I think the most I know about Cable is from the Deadpool video game. And he did crack a couple of jokes in there, but he was a little bit more serious. You know, Deadpool is the one who cracks the jokes, and Cable is kind of like, you know, the stern guy who kind of tries to keep Deadpool in line unsuccessfully. But I'm really excited for this Deadpool and Cable. That will be a lot of fun. And Josh Brolin is a good actor. It's just, you know, it's crazy that he is playing Thanos and Cable. You know, personally, I wanted Ron Perlman to play Thanos, but that's just me. He has the jaw for it, you know, like Thanos has a big jaw, and Ron Perlman is all jaw. His head is just a big jaw. Anyways, moving on. Joe Russell said Doctor Strange and Spider-Man will have a close relationship and work together in the fight against Thanos. Joe Russell. He is one of the directors of Infinity War. And apparently Doctor Strange and Spider-Man will be working together. That's pretty cool. I think those are cool characters. He said the reason why they work together is because they're from the same town. Aren't they all from the same town, pretty much? I mean, they all, like, are around that Avengers Tower and Avengers Base that's in upstate New York now. But yeah, Spider-Man and Doctor Strange. I don't know a whole lot about the comics with them working together. But I'm interested to see it in the movie. I think Benedict Cumberbatch and Tom Holland will be interesting together. Aren't they both British? That's pretty cool. Let's see. Homecoming. Spider-Man Homecoming had a 61% decline for its second weekend, which is shocking. Apparently, that's a huge decline. And it's actually on par with the Amazing Spider-Man films. And we know that those films did not do very well financially, because if they had done well, then Spider-Man would not be in the MCU, that's for sure. So that's a little bit worrying. I mean, Spider-Man Homecoming had an amazing first weekend. You know, my last video was pretty much talking about that for like 5 minutes. And now it has a 61% decline. That is a little bit worrying. But hopefully that, you know, doesn't mean anything bad. Hopefully the movie is still financially successful. We can only hope. I thought it was an excellent movie. If you guys haven't seen Spider-Man Homecoming yet, go see it. Go support that film so we get more Spider-Man. All right. So that's all the movie news. Let's talk about video game news right now. Here we go. Sub-Zero is now available for those who bought the season pass for Injustice 2 or the Fighter Pack 1. The standalone release for Sub-Zero is July 18th. Is it July 18th? No, today's the 17th, I believe. And he will be released for $6. That is $1 more than the Mortal Kombat X characters. They were $5, but now they are $6. Paying $6 for one character is pretty ridiculous. That's why I got the season pass, because I want all the characters. And I think if you bought the season pass, they were like $3 each instead of $6. I don't know, man. $6 for one character is pretty ridiculous. Anyways, Starfire is the next DLC character and will be released in the near future, probably August. I don't know if Starfire is part of the Fighter Pack 1 or if that's the beginning of Fighter Pack 2. Not sure about that. Next news, DMC Devil May Cry is available in a humble Capcom Rising bundle for only $1. Through August 22nd. I would argue that Devil May Cry is a superhero video game. You know, he exists in the real world. He kind of wears a costume, and he has superpowers. They're devil powers, but they're superpowers. I would consider Devil May Cry to be a superhero video game. That is arguable, though. Let's talk about it in the comments. Next news story here. Let's see. A 25-minute gameplay video for Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite came out. It shows some of the story mode. I watched it. That game looks fun. I have it pre-ordered. I'm excited for it, but not anything super interesting in that game. I mean, fighting games are more something you enjoy and experience on your own. For me, gameplay videos for fighting games are kind of just like, you know, watching someone else play chess. It's not super interesting unless it's, you know, Bobby Fischer. Let's see. Marvel Powers United VR was announced for Oculus Rift. I'm not sure if it's an Oculus Rift exclusive, but Oculus Rift kind of was part of the presentation, so it's probably an exclusive. The release for the game is in 2018. This one actually looked really cool. If anything made me want to get VR, it would probably be this. And it showed Captain Marvel, Hulk, and Rocket Raccoon as three of the characters you could be. I'm not sure how many characters are going to be available, but those were the three characters that they showed in the trailer. And it's pretty much just a VR game. It's first person. When you're Rocket Raccoon, you actually see your nose, which is kind of cool. And when you're Hulk, you got your fists and shit. It looks like a lot of fun. It's first person, but it looks hella tight. Apparently, Markiplier, you know, the YouTube personality, just a little bit less famous than me. He played the game, and he said when you were the Hulk, you seem gigantic, and when you're Rocket Raccoon, you're like looking up at everyone. It just sounds like an awesome game. It's too bad VR is $600 fucking. Jesus Christ. Spider-Man PS4 will feature an older Spider-Man at 23 years old. That's you know, it's not that old, but it's older than usual Spider-Man that we see. Usually the Spider-Man we see is like, you know, teenager, high school years, but this one he's going to be 23 years old in the PS4 game, and it will weave Peter Parker and Spider-Man stories together. We have never heard that before, have we? We've never heard Peter Parker and Spider-Man stories being weaved. Of course we have. Every Spider-Man story is fucking Peter Parker and Spider-Man stories weaved together. It's always like, oh, I can't do this because it will affect my real life. Sorry. Anyways, last story. This is my final story for the entire video. Jeddah Doma from the Darkstalkers video game and Gamora from Guardians of the Galaxy were shown to be playable in Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite. Good shit. Gamora is hot as fuck. I would totally fuck that alien pussy. I'm excited for that. That's all the news for this week's Superhero Movie Weekly Movie and Video Game News. Thanks for watching. Leave a like. Share this video with your friends. Subscribe. That's a good thing to do. And leave a comment letting me know what you think about this week's movie and video game news about superheroes. Let's talk about Devil May Cry and why it's a superhero video game. Cool. Thanks for watching, guys. I'll see you next week.